Good morning, students. I welcome all the BSc second year semester 3 biochemistry students in the online classes. You know, it is not possible in such difficult condition to attend the regular classes in the college. Therefore, it is decided to conduct the classes online. I have already sent you the timetable and the syllabus of BSc biochemistry. You have to attend the classes as per the timetable. I think you are safe at your home, but at your home you have to attend the classes as per the timetable. I am going to teach you the BSc second year biochemistry paper 2, that is biophysical and biochemical techniques. When you go through the syllabus, you find that there are two papers in biochemistry, paper 1 that is macromolecule and paper 2 biophysical and biochemical techniques. I am going to teach you the paper 2 that is biophysical and biochemical techniques. You know, in each paper of biochemistry there are 4 units. In paper 2 there are unit 1, unit 2, unit 3 and unit 4. The first unit is concerned with the buffers and pH. The second unit is concerned with the spectrophotometry. Third and fourth unit, they are concerned with chromatography. First of all, I will discuss about the unit 1, that is buffers and pH. You know, there is various types of acids, bases and buffers. In our body also there are acids, bases and buffers, but you should know what is the physiological functions of the acid, bases and buffers in our body. The functions of acid, bases and buffers we will study in the first unit. What is the significance of buffers in our body? You have to study in the first unit. Also, how to measure the pH of any solution, it may be chemical solution or biological solution, how it is measured, and what is the pH of the given buffer solution, what is the significance of pH of the given solution. All this you have to study in the first unit. The unit 2 of biochemistry is concerned with spectrophotometry. Spectrophotometry, it deals with the measurement of the concentration of biomolecule in the given physiological or biological solution. We can measure its concentration with the help of spectrophotometer. Not only we measure the concentration, we can determine their molecular weight. Also we can determine their molecular formula also approximately with the help of spectrophotometer. There are advanced instruments like UV spectrophotometry, infrared spectrophotometry, fluorescence spectrophotometry and so on. We have to study in detail about the various types of spectrophotometer used in biochemistry, their functions and their significance in biochemistry. This is about the unit 2. Unit 3 and unit 4 are concerned with chromatography. The chromatography is a separation technique. How will you separate the biochemical compounds from the biological solution? It is given in the unit 3 and unit 4. Chromatographic techniques are used for the separation of the amino acids, proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, vitamins, minerals. Along with that, we can estimate their concentration by the different technique, but the chromatography we can separate them, we can purify them. This is the advantage of the chromatography. Therefore, it is called as separation technique. We study in detail about the various types of the chromatographic techniques like paper chromatography, thin layer chromatography, column adsorption chromatography, gel filtration chromatography, affinity chromatography, etc. There are various types of chromatography techniques used in biochemistry for the separation of various types of organic compounds, inorganic compounds present in the biological sample. Now, we shall discuss about the unit 1, that is buffers and pH. You know, buffers are the biological solutions present in our body. Buffers are present in our blood, buffers are present in our cell. The buffers maintain the pH of our body fluids. pH of our body fluids, it is always remain constant, and this pH has been constant because of the buffers. The constant pH is very essential for the activity of enzymes. Enzymes become inactive when there is change in pH. If the buffer pH is constant, then the enzyme remain active. If the enzyme is active, then there are biochemical reactions in our body. There are various metabolic reactions in our body, the functioning of our cell, functioning of the organ, and these all require the activity of enzymes, and the activity of enzyme is maintained by the buffers. The buffers are very important biological solutions present in our body. You can prepare buffer solutions in the laboratory by using various chemicals. We can use acids and bases to prepare the buffer solutions. So, you should know about the acids and bases, what are acids, what are bases, and then we will discuss about what are buffers, what is isotopic pH of the biological solutions. We can measure the isotopic pH of the biological solutions with the help of the pH meter. Okay, we will discuss in the next period, but before that I will discuss about the buffers and pH. In the buffers and pH, in the first unit there are 4 topics. The first topic is concept of acids, bases and buffers and isotopic pH. The second topic is buffer capacity, mechanism of action of buffer, Henderson-Hasselbalch equation, biologically and physiologically important buffers. Third topic is titration curve of weak acids, titration curve of amino acids, and last topic the electrometric determination of pH. The first topic is concept of acids, bases and buffers and isotopic pH. All of you know about what are acids, what are bases and what are buffers, because in chemistry we are studying the acids, bases and buffers. The concept of acid, you know, acids according to the Arrhenius theory, a substance classified as an acid if it produces hydrogen ions or hydronium ions in water. A substance is classified as a base if it produces hydroxide ions in water. It is a very simple definition according to Arrhenius scientist. Acid produces hydrogen ion and base produces hydroxide ions. It is the definition given by the concept given by the Arrhenius. But there are some drawbacks, because some acids does not release the hydrogen ion and some bases does not release the OH minus ions. Therefore, it can't define properly the acid, which compound is said to be acid and which compound is said to be the base. The second concept about the acid and base is given by Bronsted and Lowry. It is called a Bronsted-Lowry theory, or Bronsted-Lowry's concept of acids and bases. According to Bronsted and Lowry theory, a substance is said to be acid if it acts as a proton donor and as a base if it acts as proton acceptor. Acid always donates the proton and the base always accept the proton. A simple definition is proton donors are the acids and proton acceptors are the bases, but again there are some limitations, because some acids and bases does not follow this law. Therefore, the Lewis scientist is given another concept about the acids and bases. According to Lewis theory, the Lewis theory classifies a substance as an acid if it acts as an electron pair acceptor and as a base if it acts as an electron pair donor. According to Lewis, acids are electron acceptors and bases are electron pair donors, and this is the most widely accepted theory, that is Lewis concept of acids and bases. In this way, there are three concepts given by the three types of scientists: the Arrhenius concept, Bronsted-Doris concept, and Lewis concept about the acids and bases. Now, there are two types of acids. There is strong acid and weak acids. I will say what is my strong acid. Any acid that dissociates 100% into ions is called strong acid. If it does not dissociate 100%, it is weak acid. And those acids which dissociate completely when added in water are called as strong acid. If it does not dissociate, then it is called as the weak acid. Does not dissociate 100%, it is called as weak acid. For example, HCl is an example of strong acid. When HCl is dissolved in water, it completely dissociates into H plus ion and Cl minus ion. All the HCl molecules becomes ions, there is complete dissociation. HCl gives H plus Cl minus ion, 100% H plus ion and Cl minus ion. Therefore, it is called as a strong acid. What are weak acids? Which does not completely dissociate, it is called as weak acid. For example, acetic acid, it is weak acid. When acetic acid is dissolved in water, it dissociates to give H plus ion plus CH3COO minus ion, like a proton plus the anion, that is CH3COO minus, but dissociate only about 5%. So, it is very little dissociated when dissolved in water. Therefore, it is called as weak acid. Because of this reaction, it does not go 100% to completion. It is more appropriate to write it as an equilibrium. It can be written as CH3COOH, it gives H plus ion plus CH3COO minus, H plus CH3COO minus again combined to give CH3COOH. It is called a reversible reaction. So, most of the CH3COOH it remain as undissociable form and only 5% remain in dissociable form, that is only 5% H plus CH3CO minus and approximately about 90% CH3COOH, that is undissociable form. Therefore, it is called as the weak acid. In this acid, the H plus concentration is very low, whereas in case of HCl, the H plus concentration is very high. Therefore, HCl is called as strong acid and acetic acid it is called as the weak acid. It is about the definition of strong and weak acids. Now, next, what are strong and weak bases? Like strong acids and weak acids, there are strong bases and weak bases. The strong bases, like that of the strong acids, they completely dissociate. Any base that dissociate 100% into ions is called as a strong base, but does not dissociate 100%, it is weak base. For example, NOH, it is strong base, it is an example of strong base. When NOH is dissolved in water, it is completely dissociate into H plus and OH minus ion, that is hydroxyl ion and the H plus ion. All the NOH molecules becomes ions. NOH, the reaction is NOH gives Na plus OH minus, 100% dissociation. All the strong bases are OH minus compounds. Strong base means giving OH minus ion. Therefore, they are called as strong bases. Now, come to the example of the weak base. ammonia. It is a very good example of weak base. A base based on some other mechanism such as ammonia, which does not contain OH minus ion as a part of its formula, will be a weak acid. Ammonia is a weak acid because it does not contain OH minus ion. For strong bases always contain the OH minus ion, but ammonia does not contain OH minus ion. Ammonia is a weak base. Okay, this is about the strong acids and weak acids, the strong bases and weak bases, the definition and example. I come to the next topic. Before discussing the next topic, that is about the buffers. Buffers are the biochemical solutions which reduce the change in pH. The buffers are composed of the salt of weak acid plus weak acid itself. So, we can synthesize a buffer solution in the laboratory by taking weak acid, mix it with its salt of strong base. It is called as the buffer solution. There are different types of buffer solutions. The different buffer solutions have different pH values. In biochemistry laboratory, you have to use different types of buffer solutions depending upon the requirement of the specific pH. The pH is measured with the help of the pH meter. So, first we will prepare the buffer solution in the laboratory and then we will measure the pH of buffer solution. So, depending upon the requirement, you can prepare the buffer solutions in the laboratory from the weak acid and its salt with strong base. It is called as weak acid. This concept we will discuss in the next period. This is all about the acids, bases. We will discuss in detail about the other topics in the next period. Thank you.